everybody. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm really looking forward to guiding you through today's yin yoga practice. It officially starts in just about 2 minutes. Pardon me. But that gives you plenty of time to gather everything that you need for class. And if you've got everything that you need, you can already go ahead and lay down in Savasana. I'm recommending today that in addition to having, your standard assists like blocks, maybe even a strap or a pillow or a folded structured blanket or towel, that you also bring this roll of socks or a t-shirt or something that you can stuff into those small spaces that might need a little extra assistance. Uncle Buck, please be good. I'm gonna ride the bird. Remember, there's no official water breaks during this class. However, if you need to grab yourself a glass of water or take a sip, please do. If you can, try to do it between postures though, so that you can really focus on the stillness that we're intending to bring about, both in your body and your breath during our asanas. All right. Ugh, Uncle Buck, you're so gross. Thank you also for sharing. Correct. So we're gonna lay down on our backs and get started. If you're not already in your Savasana, let's all meet there. It is a rainy day here in the District of Columbia. I like rainy days in the spring and summer because it's Mother Nature watering my garden, which is amazing. It's so helpful. Also, I like that it tends to be a little bit more shady outside. The sun is a tad muted, and that means I can have the window open because it feels great to be able to get some natural sunlight on your face and on your body while you're practicing. You scared me. All right, we got a little bit more than 1 minute to go. Just relaxing here. On your back, start your first scan of the body if you haven't already from head to toe. Just noticing how you feel today. Are there any points where your muscles feel tight, tense, or uncomfortable? Really tune into your breath right now and throughout the practice and let it be your guide. So we're going to work our way into some stretches that might be uncomfortable, but don't hold your breath or start to muscle through anything. Make sure you can still take your slow, calm, relaxed breath. And from there, find the depth that works for you. Let's come to our first asana besides Savasana for the day. Start to wiggle your fingers, your toes, bring some blood flow back to your extremities and walk your heels in. Take a gentle little tilt of your pelvis so your lower back is flat on the mat. And we're just gonna cross our right leg over the left. While you're here, keep your left foot planted. We're gonna open that right knee as much to the end of the mat as possible. Can you get 2 knees in one line? You'll feel a big stretch, a little bit more towards your inner thigh, towards your hip. We're staying here for just over 2 minutes. So find whatever you need to do to relax your upper body. Maybe opening your arms out to the side helps you feel a little more supported. keep in mind, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving, so either focus one spot on the ceiling above you or simply close your eyes. And while you're creating these noticeable, perhaps uncomfortable stretches, it's normal, A, to feel some shaking or trembling as you're creating these new connections and openings. And B, if at any point that stretch goes from being uncomfortable into actually being painful, gently make your way out. Find a new spot that you can hold and continue to breathe there. So it's better to find a somewhat gentle, uncomfortable stretch that maybe isn't too deep that you can stick with for the whole duration of the posture, as opposed to finding a stretch and then releasing and finding a stretch and then releasing. So find that space that you can stay. We've got 1 minute left here. Start to carefully come out, so stop actively stretching the outside of the right knee to the end of the mat. Uncross your legs. Perhaps take a moment to windshield wipe those knees. And then back to center. Make sure that lower back is pressed down towards the mat, so that gentle little tuck of your pelvis. Lift up your left leg, cross your left leg over your right. Start to work those two knees into one line. Make sure you have some space too, that you're not just like jamming your ankle bone. So you're pressing right above that ankle into your right thigh. And that'll also help you feel that stretch a little bit more. And being mindful of those ankles, and find what you're gonna do with your upper body. Allow your head to start to become heavy. And with every exhale, sinking that upper body a little bit more into the mat. So actively creating a little stretch through that left hip, inner thigh, quad. And then also actively relaxing your upper body as much as possible. Remember, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So if your eyes were moving, I know mine were, it's a great opportunity to close them. Just focus on your breath. Using your inhale to be aware of the stretch that you're creating, and using your exhale to let go of any expectations. And the great thing too is if your eyes are closed, matters so much less the concept of what your stretch looks like. With my eyes closed, my two knees are perfectly in one line. I'm able to do the most beautiful dangle or sleeping swan possible. With my eyes open, sometimes there's a lot more personal judgment. Another great reason to close your eyes and relax. All right, let's carefully release the tension of the stretching the knee towards the end of the mat. Uncross your legs. Find that windshield wipe again. And then I do believe we have a supported glute bridge coming up next. So grab hold of your block or your rolled up towel or whatever you're going to use for a little bit of lift. Press your hips up and then place that prop right at your low back. So your glutes hang off, start to feel a nice little stretch in your lower belly. And you can make this as intense as you want to. So if that barely feels like a stretch for you, perhaps you go onto a higher part of your block or prop. Find what feels good for you. Feel free to relax your arms down by your side and use them for a little bit more of support, or continue to have your arms out by your side for a gentle stretch of the chest. And a nice slow exploration of your breath. This is one of our longer postures of today, so we're here for a total of 4 minutes. Scan your body from head to toe and check in on yourself. I know I asked you to press into your feet, and that probably made you squeeze your glutes to lift yourself up and to place this prop under your lower back. So, do you still have any active tension in your glutes? If so, use your exhale and relax it. All right, now that you've had all the reminders of things to tune into throughout class, we'll work to be a little more quiet, by we, I mean me, in each posture. And during that quiet time, in the spaces between your breath, tune into the sounds that you hear. I like to really take in some silence and try to notice the furthest away sound that I can hear. Be that the dog crying in the bedroom, the wind and the rain on the air conditioning unit outside, birds in the trees, or on a nice day, tennis being played on the courts outside. We're into our last minute here in our supported glute bridge. press the soles of the feet into the floor. Use your inhale, lift yourself up, remove your prop. Exhale, one vertebrae at a time, glue that lower back down on the mat. From here, we're gonna roll over and come into tabletop and enjoy a little free movement in cat-cow. So take your time to get into that tabletop. On my way there, I'm gonna tuck my shirt into my pants, like the winner I know that I am that tucks their shirt into their pants. But if you're someplace where it doesn't matter, I encourage you to not tuck your shirt into your pants. We're here to appreciate all the amazing movement that our bodies can do and be. So enjoy it if your shirt gently crawls up to your chin as we get into some gentle inversions. Not quite yet though, don't worry. Couple breaths here in your cat-cow, and then we're gonna sink our hips back towards our heels for a little bit of child's pose. Perhaps resist the urge to open those knees nice and wide. I'm going to just take a moment to drop the delicious food that Uncle brought over to the mat into the bird's cage. Sharing's caring. All right, so don't open your knees. Keep your knees in line with your hips and send your glutes back towards your heels. Walk your hands forward, because we're just gonna take about a minute here in this child's pose. And then we're gonna turn it into a half bow tie with a little bit of puppy pose. So you can get as much of a stretch into the shoulders and low back as you want by gently pressing into your hands palms and actively stretching your glutes towards your heels, or you can be as passive as you want here as well. If it's too much to have your hands all the way forward, you can take a generous bend of your elbows. And now let's get a little bit of unilateral movement. I'm keeping my right hand forward and I'm getting a little thread the needle action, bringing my left hand underneath the body with my upper arm really close to the chest. But I want to apply a little bit more pressure there. So lifting the glutes off of the heels so that you're stacking your hips a little more on top of the knees. It's going to allow you to bring a little extra pressure into your shoulder. You can turn your head and look in the same direction of your threaded needle to be a little bit more passive in the stretch, or you can stretch your chin forward to be a little bit more active. So find what feels good for you, because we're going to spend just over a minute here. The more that you're extended in front of you, child's pose armpit is close to the floor, the more you're really actively pressing your chest into your woven arm, the deeper you're going to feel this stretch. Getting a lot of upper back, shoulder. Scan your body from head to toe. Ask yourself, where are you adding extra tension that you don't need? How can you relax a little bit here? And keep that scan up. Think of yourself as a tension lifeguard. And we're at a swim park. Danger. Just kidding. But those lifeguards at, like, you know, slides, water slides and all that have to pay so much more attention. All right, we're gonna carefully unthread the needle. So maybe you even walk your child's pose hand in a little bit to help you lift up, extend that threaded arm forward, come back through to child's pose.
And remember, you can take a generous bend of your elbows, and you don't have to do the same exact thing every time. This time, left arm is going to extend forward still as we bring the right arm underneath to weave under the bodies, and then lifting hips up. So hips stack a little bit more on top of the knees, and you can apply a little bit more pressure into the forearm or upper arm. And remember, you can turn your head in the same direction of your woven hand to make it a little easier. Or you can stretch your chin forward for an even deeper stretch that way. Last couple of breaths right here. Remember, it makes it a little easier to come out if you walk your extended left hand in. Use it to help press yourself up. We're gonna pull ourselves forward, coming up into down dog. So tuck your toes under. Send those glutes up towards the ceiling. Do your best to get your biceps a little in line with your ears. So bringing that lower belly closer towards your thighs. You can have as generous of a bend in your knees as you need for today. How straight of a line can you create from your hips all the way down to your wrists? And feel free to take a little pedal of your heels right here. Next up, we've got our sleeping swan. So we're just using this down dog for a gentle transition. You can inhale that right leg up towards the ceiling, and then bring it forward, shift the weight forward, shoulders start to come on top of hands, palms, right foot crosses to the left side of the mat, and then walk that left leg back behind you. You can either stay lifted right here and be a beautiful pigeon, or you can release yourself down towards the mat. Remember, as you come into this posture, the goal is to get the hip flexor of our extended back leg closer to the mat, as opposed to sitting down over here on our front leg's glute, in which case we completely lose the stretch into that hip. However, this might not be super comfortable for you. Could be a lot of tension in your front leg. So maybe you just bring a sock into the situation. Move a little bit forward because I don't have enough space. All right, and from here, we're gonna spend 2 minutes right here. Feel free to tuck your chin to your chest, relax your head down towards the floor. If you can't get your head all the way down towards the floor, maybe you stack your hands, or maybe you have a pillow nearby, or even something to prop underneath of your chest so you can be supported in your upper body and really just focus on this stretch through your hips and glutes. I'm thinking about the sock that I have under my front leg, the way that like a really big truck on a hill would put a block of wood behind the back tire so that the truck doesn't roll backwards. And this sock underneath of my front leg is keeping me from bringing that glute towards the floor. Encourages me to stay in the stretch and relax into it a little bit more, because I know I'm not gonna roll down the hill and crush everyone. All right, 1 minute left. Relax, relax, relax. Be your personal lifeguard. You're probably starting to notice towards the end that the more that you do relax your upper body here, the deeper that you start to feel the stretch throughout those hips, maybe even the glute of the front leg, and you haven't changed the stretch at all in the lower half of the body. You just relaxed. Great. We're gonna come on out of this. So if you're a sleeping swan, start to press yourself up. Roll onto that glute, and we're gonna come into a butterfly. So you can take that back leg and just fold it in, bring the soles of your feet together. I'm gonna turn around so I'm not rude. Hi, everybody. Soles of the feet come closer towards each other. If your knees are all the way up towards your chest, it's another great opportunity to use your props and place them on the outside of your knees. Oh, that actually feels amazing. To relax in your butterfly. If you're feeling really tight, you might have your hands behind you. And if you're feeling really loose, you might have your hands in front of you. And feel free to tuck your chin towards your chest. And we're just gonna breathe here for oh, this is our other long posture of the day. So we got 4 minutes. Remember, if at any point during these 4 minutes you found that maybe you were a little ambitious in the stretch that you came into, it actually goes from being uncomfortable and noticeable to painful. You can gently ease your way out and come into stillness once again. If you took a hinge forward, take your time, move slowly. Carefully lift yourself back up.
Wow. Alright, we're going to come into the opposite side, sleeping swan. Probably easier for you to remember which side is the opposite. You can just swing along one leg behind you and then roll up onto that hip flexor. Wiggle around on the mat a little bit. I'm gonna bring my sock to help me feel a little supported right here. And I'm gonna use as many props as I want to. And I hope that you do too. Whew. You got 3 minutes right here. And I imagine you dilly-dallied a little bit less than me. So let's say we've got like 2 minutes right here. You've been in this posture once before, so think about what an amazing job you already did in working towards relaxing your upper body. And while both sides of the body are not the same, can any of the breaths or movements or intentions that you had from the other side help you relax a little bit more over here as well? Awesome job. Let's start to move these props out of the way. You might need to bring that back knee in. We're going to extend both legs out on the floor in front of us and come on down into Sphinx Pose. Oh, the props in front of me were in the perfect spot to be a little supportive in this Sphinx Pose. If being pressed up on your forearms is really uncomfortable, you can fold your hands together and relax your head down on the floor to come into alligator. And we're gonna meet you there in just about 30 seconds. But for right now, scan your body head to toe, relax your shoulders, relax your belly button closer to the mat. Relax through your glutes and your toes. Big deep stretch into your low back. All right, and we're gonna make our way down to the floor. So fold one hand on top of the other, place your forehead down on the floor. And you can either relax here for this next minute or bend your knees and windshield wipe your legs in opposite directions. My quads are so tired from some of our amazing classes and workouts this week that this feels like a nice little massage into those legs. We got just a couple stretches coming up next. Before our final Savasana, technically one, but we'll do it to one side and then the other. Next up is broken wing, a really deep spine twist as well. So go ahead and relax the feet back down towards the floor.
Oops. Lost an earplug. Go ahead and extend your arms out to the side. Palms facing down towards the floor, with your hands palms in line with your shoulders. Whichever side you're going to roll to first, you're going to keep that arm extended. The opposite hand palm is going to come in towards your chest. Press into your toes and start to roll over onto your hip. So right now we're getting a nice big stretch into your shoulder, and you're controlling how deep that stretch is by how much weight you're really placing in your hip. If you're not feeling enough of a stretch, you can always clamshell open your legs, maybe even press the top toe to the floor behind you, or even if you kept your legs together, maybe bending your knees for some support and then walking the opposite hand out. That feels delightful. I'm gonna stay here and we're gonna be in this for 2 more minutes. If you found that it was uncomfortable to roll over into this and that your knees don't come together at all and you want a little bit more support, think about bringing a block or whatnot to place right between those legs to stack your hips and focus a little bit more on the twist through the shoulders as opposed to bringing that extra twist right here into the hips. If you have both hands extended, whichever direction your eyes are facing, walk that hand in closer to give you some support. Bring your legs back together, extend them, and roll over onto your chest. Let's switch those arms. So once again, either both arms extended out towards the side. Rolling one hand in is going to help you to get into the stretch. And you're just doing what feels right for this side of the body today, because both sides of the body aren't the same, maybe depending on how you work. That's nice. Depending on how you work, you know, there might be a little bit more stress in one shoulder than the other. Maybe you slept funny last night and you're having some discomfort on one side. We're just here to breathe through whatever we're able to bring. Even if you laid on the floor in Savasana for this entire class. I hope you were able to bring some quiet to your mind and your breath. If you found that your mind was still whirling, I highly recommend playing some music for yourself. I find the best music in Yin is mostly sounds. I don't care to be too distracted by lyrics. So the ambient relaxation playlist on Spotify, or finding some spa music is great. I listened to some soundtrack the other day It seemed like it had seagulls cawing in the background. And with my eyes closed, it was like imagining I was at the beach. Just relaxing on the beach, and it was magical. Let's carefully make our way out of this broken wing spine twist. So move your props out of the way. Bring your supportive hand back in. Extend your legs, roll onto your belly, then roll onto your back. Because it's time for our final Savasana. If you want to, you can take that final Savasana on your belly. Maybe turning your head in one direction for about 7 or 8 breaths, and then turning your head in the opposite direction, or perhaps you've already joined me in rolling over into a traditional Savasana. We are going to spend 3 minutes here together, though you're welcome to spend as many minutes here in this final Savasana as you want on your own. I'm sure you created such a beautiful stillness right now. If you'd like to finish class together, Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and make your way to a comfortable seated position of your choice. Otherwise, you can remain in that Savasana for as long as feels good. Once you've come into your comfortable seated position, round a bit through your sit bones. Let's use our next inhale to bring our arms up overhead. Hands, palms come together, and exhale, hands come down to heart center. Thumbs touching on your chest, sternum, elbows, hang heavy down to the floor, tuck your chin. Take a moment and bow to yourself. You're amazing. I hope you can think of many things that you're so proud of yourself for doing today, but take a moment to focus on just one. If you have any questions or concerns about anything I said and we did today, reach out. If you have a particular ache or pain and you'd love to have a class that addresses or stretches a specific area, let me know. Until we are together again, be good to yourself. Think good thoughts. Speak good words. Eat good foods. Do good deeds. And take the time to nourish yourself from the inside to the out. If it feels right, bring your thumb to your third eye, your drishti, press to your sit bones, lift your face up towards the sky. Know that the light within me honors, sees, and is so thankful for the light within you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.